Got some old pistols here.
Neat. Were these like a judge's? What's the mallet for?
It's not a gap.
Order in the court. Order in the court. Oh, you don't want to listen? I'll make you listen.
Mike's at the pawn shop today, hoping to sell a pair of dueling pistols he's got. Honestly, the packaging alone is pretty eye-catching. The pistols come in a sleek box, complete with some extra touches like a gavel. Fancy, right? Now he's aiming to get around $1,000 for the set. Will that actually happen? Who knows? But hey, at least he's being realistic. He's willing to settle for $400 if it comes to that. Let's see how it plays out.
I'd hope to get about $1,000 for them, $400 or $500.
In the world did you get these?
My mom had a blanket chest from my father, wrapped up in a blanket in those.
As expected, antiques usually come from one of three places. They're inherited, bought at auctions, or just stumbled upon. In Mike's case, he inherited this box of pistols from his mother. She probably gave them to him for security, maybe economic security like today, where he's hoping to turn them into some quick cash. Or maybe it was personal security.
They're wearing guns on their hip when there were 6 shots. This was more or less one shot, but I don't think they're for dual. They're percussion cap, which means they're probably made after the 1830s. You would take a cap, you would put it on there, pull the hammer back, and bam, pull, and lit everything on fire inside.
Being an experienced pawn shop owner, Rick has seen it all. Over the years, he's built up a solid knowledge of all kinds of antiques, including firearms. This particular type of pistol is actually right up his alley. What's interesting is how he starts schooling Mike on the gun, pointing out details Mike probably didn't even notice.
The design on the barrels, I can tell these are old, 1830 to 1870. If they were an American gun, I'd know about them. These are maybe German, French, they're European anyway.
Right.
Looking at the detailing on the pistols and the sleek packaging, they definitely make a strong impression. The set looks high quality and like something that could be a great buy. If Rick and Mike can agree on a fair price, the shop might be landing one of the best pieces it's seen in a while. Rick clearly appreciates the craftsmanship and features of the gun, but the real question is, will the price be just as appealing?
Hey, so I was looking about $1,000.
Okay, I think we might be able to do more than that.
I don't know nothing about it.
I just feel bad about it. I know they're worth a lot more.
There's a twist to this deal. Mike's asking for $1,000, which sounds fair on the surface. The interesting part, Rick actually knows the guns are worth more than that, and has told Mike he'd be willing to pay even higher. But Rick's not one to rush into a deal no matter how good it looks. So, before anything's finalized, he decides to call in an expert to get a better read on exactly what this gun is all about.
Here's a pair of pistols. Not to say that these couldn't be used in a duel, but these were more target pistols.
Okay.
The dueling pistols, the majority of them were smooth, where the ball can just kind of wave and go all over the place. These have rifled barrel, okay? That means that keeping it a tighter pattern, the accuracy is greatly.
After taking a good look, Sean confirms what Rick had already suspected. These aren't dueling pistols at all. They're actually target pistols, likely manufactured in the 1800s. The design and craftsmanship hint that they're either French or German made, which adds to their value and historical appeal. Everything Sean points out lines up perfectly with the features Rick looks for in a top-tier antique.
Pistols before, but they are scarce. These things have survived over the past 100 years. You know, guys, these are such nice condition. I bet you these things could be fired right now.
Everything about these pistols just seems to align perfectly. Age, craftsmanship, origin, condition. It all points to this being a seriously great buy. It's the kind of antique that actually makes sense to spend real money on. And to top it off, the expert drops the big news. This set is estimated to be worth somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000. Mike just nods, clearly blown away.
And all that,
No, I'll take a little more.
2,500 bucks?
I'd like to have at least 7.
Crazy.
He said between 5 and 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it might bring in an auction.
Okay.
Now, I'll tell you what.
Confident after the expert's appraisal, Mike says he's willing to let the pistols go for $7,000. But Rick isn't biting. He's not ready to go that high. In fact, he counters with $2,500. The negotiation gets a little tense, but after some back and forth, they eventually meet in the middle at $3,000. That's a pretty fair deal for both sides, especially considering Mike originally walked in hoping to get just $1,000.
All right, 3,000 bucks. Chum, go write them up.
I'm happy with the deal of $3,000 I wanted. It gives me a little money in my pocket. Have fun.
I'm at the pawn shop today to try and sell this gun. I'm sure it's really old and rare because I like guns and you don't see one like this for it. You know, if I did make the sale today, I'd upgrade my off-road vehicle. Pretty worn down. I don't like to get broke down.
A really nice looking gun has made its way into the pawn shop today, brought in by its owner. It's a wheel-lock puffer pistol, and he is hoping to sell it for around $25,000. That's already a hefty price to start with, but depending on its condition, history, and authenticity, this gun could be worth a lot more. If it checks all the right boxes as a valuable antique, this could turn out to be a hidden gem.
We pick it up and pull the trigger. So this is what this, the very this would wind basically parts of this, because it's like a clock. And then you would pull the trigger and that wheel in there would.
Rick knows exactly how the mechanics of the gun work, and he's not shy about explaining it to the owner. The gun might look complicated, but its design is seriously impressive. High-level craftsmanship all around. There's a lot to appreciate both in how it looks and how it functions. The owner seems pretty happy to see just how interested Rick is in the weapon. It's clear the passion for the piece is mutual.
And a storage locker that was auctioned.
Okay, this thing is elk antler right here. We have probably mahogany. We have some European makers, but overall it's an amazing, very wealthy individual. What you have here is rare.
It's one thing to admire the gun for how good it looks. It's a whole other story for it to actually be as valuable as it seems. The owner definitely wants to sell this gem he found in a storage locker that was auctioned off. Talk about a treasure hidden inside a treasure. But Rick's expression changed when the owner dropped the price. A whopping $25,000. That's a steep number, and Rick's not so sure it's going to be that simple.
I don't think 25,000 is completely. I have a gun expert I could have look at. Is there any way you could wait a few days?
Well, I don't want to.
Okay, and if you can't wait for him, I'd go 18,000.
With the price set at $25,000, Rick knows the gun could be worth a lot more, but he's not about to throw down that kind of cash without getting expert advice first. Unfortunately, the expert isn't in town and can't be reached right now. The owner isn't willing to wait a few days for the expert's opinion. He really needs the money. So they settle the deal at $20,000. It seems fair enough to Rick, and hopefully it turns out to be a great buy in the end.
My friend is a pistol from like the 1500s.
You seem a little too.
It's incredible.
It looks incredible. Is that a bone on there or something?
This is most likely ebony.
Is that an elk horn?
Huh? No, torn.
Alex, take a look at it.
No, I was in a hurry, just wanted to make a deal.
After dropping a whopping $20,000 on the pistol, Rick takes a moment to admire his new purchase. Just then, his two sons walk in and start asking questions, mainly about whether the gun is even authentic. Rick admits he went with his gut feeling on this one. The expert wasn't around, but something about the gun just felt right. He's confident it's not a fake, but still, that's a big gamble.
Beautiful. All of this hand engraving, but it had its own style and its own a nicer wheel lock than.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a really rich guy having thing. I mean,
Absolutely.
This was like a year's pay for your common man.
Look at the markings, and I can tell you better the date range. Okay, so there are two markings.
The expert is finally here, and the gun's ready for a proper inspection. From the moment he lays eyes on it, he's impressed. The craftsmanship, the detailing, the mechanics, it all screams authentic antique. After a closer look, the expert confirms that most of the features line up with firearms from as far back as the 1500s. That's huge. If he's right, Rick's gut instinct just led him to a seriously valuable piece.
A maker mark of A. Anton Schmidt. So this is a known maker of. There's no question this thing's original. This is late 16th century. Probably about 50. You have sort of the best of both worlds, but you also have a high line.
Great news for Rick. The expert has confirmed it. The embedded stamps, the markings, the overall build, everything lines up with what you'd expect from a genuine antique. The verdict? The gun is 100% authentic. That's a huge relief for Rick. He didn't just drop $20,000 on a random piece of metal. He invested in a true piece of history. But now comes the big question. Was it worth the price?
Out here.
All right.
Oh.
All right.
Hold on, let me get my ears on. And when you're ready.
All right, you guys ready?
Yep.
1, 2, 3.
Now, to the moment of truth, does the gun actually fire? After carefully loading it up, Rick steps forward to take the shot. He pulls the trigger, and boom! The target is hit dead on. Not only is this a stunning piece of history, but it still works flawlessly. Considering how rare this pistol is and the fact that it's still fully functional, the value just went up another notch.
You can shoot a piece of artwork. So what is this a piece of artwork worth?
No, I would say I would start and we'll probably get more.
I do a bad thing now?
You got lucky.
Finally, it's clear. Rick made a smart and profitable gamble on this gun. Turns out he bought it for less than half of what the expert now estimates it's worth. That's not just a good deal, that's a stroke of luck. If the right buyer or an auction opportunity comes along, Rick could be looking at a serious profit. What started as a risky gut call is now shaping up to be one of the best buys the shop has seen in a while.
I think that's really important. So whatever collector gets it is going to love it.
Okay, cool. Thanks for coming out, man. I really appreciate it.
Take care, Alex. Thanks.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
Alex.
That was fun.
You got a really good profile shot.
Trust me, I got what would be considered maybe.
Well, I mean, like, both sides are great, but one side's better than the other, I think.
Can we go now?
I'm at a pawn shop today to try and sell my antique pirate pistol. This pistol is extremely ornate. It seems to be lined with silver and gold. I'm not sure where it is from. I'm interested in selling this firearm because I'd like to invest into more modern firearms.
It's an another good day to put some serious money on a truly authentic antique weapon. Sitting right in front of Rick is an antique gilt pistol, and it's here to prove its worth. The owner is hoping to walk out of the shop with a cool $50,000 in hand. Sure, the pistol looks amazing, elegant, detailed, and clearly from a different era, but the big question remains, is it really worth that much?
Father collected firearms. After he passed away, my brother told me about it and gave it to me.
Okay, probably not a pirate gun. A pirate could have had it for a little bit, but this is Middle Eastern. Probably Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Empire started in the Middle Ages, went all the way up to World War I.
Antiques often come with rich histories, and this pistol is no different. Tracy inherited it from her father, and now she's looking to pawn it for some cash. Rick, with his vast knowledge, takes one look and notes that the gun seems more Middle Eastern in style, rather than the typical pirate type people might expect. It's got the look of something from the 1550s to 1800s, but guns from that era are notoriously difficult to date with precision.
It's in beautiful shape. I'm assuming you want to sell it.
Yes.
So how much you looking to get out of it?
I'm thinking 50,000.
Okay. I don't know if it's worth that, but I have a buddy who really specializes in antique firearms like this. I can call him up and get him down here.
Absolutely. I'd love to know more about it.
Okay.
Antiques like this always catch Rick's eye. He's the kind of guy who's willing to make a deal, especially if he knows he's got the upper hand in bargaining, which, let's be honest, he usually does. Tracy wants to sell this piece of history for $50,000. Rick actually thinks it could be worth that, or maybe even more, but he's not one to jump in blindly. Before putting that kind of money on the table, he'd rather bring in an expert to confirm its authenticity and value.
Fill it in with this dark alloy called Niello. But the gold here, this is all fire gilding, sort of an early form of gold plating. In order to do this, you needed to use mercury, which was great for the fire gilding process.
At first glance, the expert is clearly astonished. Just seeing and holding the gun seems to hit him with a wave of rich history. Right away, he starts pointing out specific features that lead him to classify the pistol as a Caucasian piece, likely from a distinct and historically rich region. As he dives into the details, sharing facts, admiring the craftsmanship, and giving the gun high praise, it becomes clear that this isn't just a good antique, it's the real deal.
I'm gonna do it very carefully. So that's half cock, and it's holding, so that's good. And that's full cock, and that's really good. To have this 225 years later hold the correct tension is a sign that it was really well made.
From the initial physical inspection to testing the functional parts, this gun is racking up serious value points. It's a stunning piece, and the best part, everything still works perfectly. The expert has no doubt it'll fire just like it's supposed to. That's music to the owner's ears. She brought in a piece that's about 225 years old, and it's earning exactly the kind of praise she hoped for. But the big question remains, is $50,000 enough for her to part with this treasure?
No, I've got good news, bad. The good news is I bore scoped the barrel. It's excellent. There are no fissures, cracks, no pitting, so it's safe to shoot in that regard. The bad news is I tested it again just before you pulled up, and it is not holding at full cock.
The expert is back with some good news and some bad news. The bad news? The cock doesn't hold at full clip. It's a bit worn out. But hey, considering this pistol is over 200 years old, that's not too surprising. The good news? It could still fire perfectly. That worn cock means the price will definitely take a hit, but the real question is, by how much will it drop?
Buddy should put on ear and eye protection.
All right, Alex.
So I'm gonna pull back on this hammer, and I'm gonna let it go. We ready?
And that's a day off.
The good news wins out in the end. After some careful prepping, the expert pulls the trigger, and boom, the target shatters perfectly. You can almost hear the owner's smile from here. She's clearly thrilled, knowing she might just walk out of the shop with some solid cash in hand. Meanwhile, Rick's already thinking ahead, plotting how he can negotiate the price down to maximize his own gains.
If it were mine, I wouldn't sell it for less than $15,000.
Okay. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
All right,
I'll see you
thanks,
guys
man.
later.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so what do you want for it? Obviously, 50,000 is not going to happen.
Right. How about 14?
No.
Wow, the expert's estimate was way lower than Tracy's asking price. Considering the amount of value the pistol is worth, $15,000 shocked her, but she was ready to take $14,000. Rick, the tough bargainer, has offered $10,000 instead, saying he can't pay more. Not every sale happens instantly. Tracy needs time to decide. Rick's ready whenever she is. The shop's always open.
Are we back to the shop?
My front seat's full.
I was just sitting in your front seat.
Yeah, but there's a couple rocks I want to take home.
I brought you my pistol rocket rescue set.
All right,
You can open her up if you want.
looks like a flare gun to me.
It does, doesn't it?
This flamethrower lookalike is actually a fascinating piece of maritime history. The rocket launcher, or as it is known, the Shermley Pistol Rocket Apparatus, SPRA for short, revolutionized sea rescue operations in the early 20th century. Invented in 1920 by William Shermley and his son, Captain Conrad D. Shermley, this device was designed to project a line from ship to shore or between vessels.
Set was on certain military ships. I'm hoping to get $1,450 for the set. I believe it's worth that much because I've not seen one before and all the parts are there.
For a pawn shop such as this one, a complete SPRA kit, especially one from the World War II era, is a rare and valuable collector's item. Such kits, featuring original components like the pistol, rockets, lines, and carrying case, can fetch significant sums, with some examples valued at over $5,000. The seller says it's complete, however, we know better than to take their word for it. Let's check it out.
This apparatus could fire a line over 200 yards to help rescue people. These would have been really popular in World War II. If your ship's over a certain size, you have to actually have something like this on board to rescue people. There would have been shipwrecks and someone could have shot a boat and it could have started to sink. And this would have been a way to be able to pull people into the boat.
This baby was initially produced in a small factory in Cheam. The growing demand led to the establishment of a larger facility in Newdigate in 1933. During World War II, the company employed over 1,400 people, manufacturing and innovating rescue equipment. However, by the 1970s, business declined, and the company was eventually acquired by Bryant and May in 1973.
Looks like the projectile, so I'm imagining and put it down in here and load it up. Probably put some type of cap in there. Maybe that's what's in here. Cartridges, yeah, so probably what happens, it looks like you would tie this metal piece onto the rope right here, because the way this rope is folded, it looks like it's meant to come out evenly and straight.
You've got that right. Its operation involved a specially designed pistol that fired a rocket attached to a lightweight line, enabling rescuers to establish a connection over considerable distances. Now, this was never fired. Isn't that something? Let's get more info from this deal. The seller wants $1,450 for it. How much are they willing to pay? This might be a good deal after all.
For much more than 500.
Really?
I mean,
you yourself said it's one of a kind, it's complete.
Well,
it's got
I
all
didn't
the
say it's one of a kind. The military made these, but it does seem to be complete. But to be fair, I don't even know if it works. If I knew that this thing works, maybe could pay a little bit more.
You do $750?
Would you look at that? He pulled down the price from $1,450 to $500. After eventually being acquired by Bryant and May in 1973, the Newdigate factory closed in 1981, marking the end of an era for the SPRA. However, at the pawn shop today, it seems like they really are trying to end the era of this bad boy. Let's close the deal and call it a day.
3, 2, 1.
That was cool.
A guy contacted me and says he has a broom handle. He says he's down for firing it, if possible. So I'm meeting him out here at the gun range. Hopefully at the end of the day, I'll be sweeping up a deal.
The Mauser C96, affectionately dubbed the broom handle due to its unique grip shape, is a standout in firearm history. Introduced in 1896 by German manufacturer Mauser, it was among the first successful semi-automatic pistols. When someone brings a Mauser C96 broom handle into the pawn shop, they're offering more than a firearm. It's a tangible piece of history.
Mauser, right?
Oh, please check it out.
It's been a long time. Pop open and
There it is.
there we go. This is one of the world's first semi-automatic, and boy, it's goofy looking.
That's right, Rick. Its distinctive features include an internal 10-round magazine positioned ahead of the trigger, a long barrel, and a wooden shoulder stock that doubles as a holster. The grip's unique shape earned it the nickname broom handle, while in China, it was affectionately called the box cannon due to its rectangular magazine and wooden stock.
Pistol, but also a rifle at the same time. And for a gun, it's in great condition. I'm looking to sell my Mauser for $9,000, so we'll start there and see where it's.
Super cool gun.
Looks like we're up to a good start. In terms of value, a Mauser C96 can fetch anywhere from $1,000 to over $5,000, depending on its condition, rarity, and historical significance. Variants like the Red 9 or models with documented provenance can command higher prices. Collectors particularly value pistols with original matching parts and accessories, such as the wooden stock and holster like this one in the pawn shop today.
It really was innovative when it came out. A semi-automatic pistol, the 18, big deal. But the amazing part is you have this. It transformed from a holster to a stock. Guys threw these away. So these are way more rare than the gun.
The C96 was chambered primarily in the high-velocity 7.63 by 25mm Mauser cartridge, offering superior range and penetration compared to other pistols of its era. This made it a favorite among military officers and revolutionaries alike. Notably, during World War I, Germany produced the Red 9 variant, chambered in 9mm parabellum, identified by a red-painted 9 on the grip to prevent ammunition mix-ups.
The weird shape is basically because they were figuring it out for this one, but this was basically the first production one. And being the first one, this is what they come up with.
Over its production run until 1937, more than 1 million units were made, including unlicensed copies in Spain and China. During World War I, the German Imperial Army commissioned 150,000 C96 pistols chambered in 9mm parabellum to supplement the standard issue Luger P08. This variant, known as the Red 9, featured a large red-painted 9 on the grip panels to prevent confusion with the 7.63mm version. This is a lot of rich history.
So if you ever serial number and figured out the year on it.
I tried to work on that, and it's going to be somewhere around 1890.
That's something we definitely have to look at. If it's 1898 and is merely a collectible and everything else like that, 1899 and newer is a handgun, just like a brand. I'd like to get one of my guys out here to look at it.
Looks like we're about to see just how much of the real deal this gun is. Rick is right too, because post-war, the C96 continued to see production and use. In 1920, the French Gendarmerie Nationale ordered 2,000 pistols with shorter barrels and black ebonite grips. These look more like modern-day handguns. In 1940, the German Luftwaffe acquired 7,800 commercial M1930 pistols for use by motorcycle and flak crews.
Right. You know, in pop culture, Han Solo's blast, they strap some sights. This was not the first semi-automatic pistol ever produced. It was the one that was the most successful.
The C96's cultural impact is notable as well. Its distinctive design has made appearances in various films and literature. For instance, the C96 was modified to create Han Solo's iconic blaster in the Star Wars films, leading to a surge in demand among collectors and fans alike. This man just may have stumbled on gold right here. Now, it's time to look up the serial number and see what this baby is worth.
Engineering, there is one screw. That's it, right there. No other screws in this whole thing. It's milled and machined, and it's a fixed magazine, meaning so you actually have to pull the bolt back and load it from the top with a stripper that rounds down. It takes 10.
With this gun, parts fit together so seamlessly, much like a jigsaw puzzle. This approach facilitated easier field stripping and cleaning, and also contributed to the pistol's durability and reliability in various combat conditions. Imagine this sort of thing in the 1900s. Such a design was quite advanced for its time, and this showed a level of precision that set the C96 apart.
So the 11,000 series, that means it's 8, no question.
All right.
So second year production, very, very nice.
Did you bring any ammo?
I have about 20 rounds. And
okay.
I found the special stripper clip it takes, and I set up target.
Shooting the C96 is one hell of an experience. The recoil is distinctive, influenced by the weapon's weight distribution. The grip, while comfortably angled, can be small for modern hands, and the trigger has a noticeable amount of play before engagement. Despite all of these, the pistol is controllable, and its high-velocity cartridge provides impressive accuracy and range. Here we go.
You see, he's probably not going to hit anything.
Not true. Totally. Ready? Yeah! Nice! Totally worked.
Accuracy-wise, turns out the C96 is quite capable. Its long barrel and high-velocity cartridge contribute to impressive accuracy and range for a pistol of its time. When attached, the stock provides additional stability, effectively transforming the pistol into a short carbine. I mean, now it almost looks like a shotgun. This configuration enhances control and accuracy, especially during rapid fire.
We're past 1898. Finding a pre-1898 one is very...
Thanks, man.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
So, the 9,000 is not going to happen.
All right, what can we do?
I'll give you $4,000 for it. I mean, I'm not getting...
How about 6 grand?
No.
Come on, Rick, you can do it.
This price drop is absolutely crazy. Rick's $4,000 offer could be seen as a savvy business move, especially if the pistol had any condition issues or lacked original components. However, in this case, it's in perfect condition with its original stock. What happened to the expert's $7,000 valuation? Now, the seller might feel shortchanged. Let's see what the conclusion is.
$4,100?
You get a little bit higher than that. Come on, reach up a little bit.
43?
45, we got a deal. Come on, 45.
We have a deal at 40.
Deal at 40.
Deal at 44. All right,
Got it, man.
All right, cool. So I'll meet you back at the shop.
Sounds great. Let's go.
You know, sometimes I may even myself.